The Galapagos Islands. The most extraordinary place on Earth. Where spectacular animals live side by side with people. Meet Monty Halls, explorer and marine biologist, and his unique research team, wife Tam and kids Isla and Molly.
There is no greater explorer than a 5-year-old.
They've already spent a month
I found one!
exploring the Galapagos we don't normally get to see.
I'm not grabbing that. It's massive.
Everything to do with human existence is here on this beach.
Now,
Okay.
they want to find out what really makes these islands tick.
Look at this. You always think of conservation as being about animals. It's not. It's about people.
40 years after they became a World Heritage Site,
The islands are getting in danger.
the family have realized that the responsibility for preserving this remarkable place lies with all of us.
Right, up we go. Let's go. Oh, easy. He's got attitude.
And Monty has one pressing question he wants to answer.
Are we living up to that responsibility? Are these islands safe in our hands?
On Galapagos, love for the islands can be a double-edged sword. It is a dream holiday destination, top of countless bucket lists. In 1996, 40,000 tourists came here. By 2015, there were over 200,000. And numbers are still going up. With all this amazing wildlife on hand, it's easy to see why. But Galapagos isn't just home to animals. 30,000 people live here, too. The Halls family have joined them, making their base in the Santa Cruz cloud forest, which, as the name might suggest, is a little damp.
It's raining.
It's raining again, is it? That's rubbish.
Okay, that's Isla Smiler's morning routine. Assuming those legs are Molly's. Basically, rain came barreling in. And, yeah, gave us a right old pasting. But there we are, that's living in the Highlands.
Many visitors are drawn by Galapagos' ecological diversity. Just a few miles can separate dramatically different ecosystems. And even similar habitats can vary hugely from island to island. A month into his trip, Monty wants to find out whether the Galapagos and its wildlife can cope with the demands of all the people who live and visit here. His first mission is from his home on Santa Cruz to the island of Santiago. It's uninhabited and fringed with mangrove, a globally threatened ecosystem.
The first thing that happens when a bit of coastline is developed is the mangroves are cleared. The moment you do that, you deprive all these animals of a habitat to grow up in. It's simple as that.
In the open ocean, young fish must contend with raging currents and hungry predators. So the mangroves provide a safe haven for some to grow up in. Monty has joined a Galapagos National Park research trip.
Ya, vamos. 1, 2, 3.
to see what's hiding in this fishy nursery.
Mangroves are incredibly important ecosystems. There's a vivid illustration. Net's been in the water 1 minute.
If the pelicans don't get there first, these scientists are looking for baby sharks. They are indicator species, which hold clues as to the health of the whole marine ecosystem.
Oh, yeah, there's one there. Getting the sharks out of the water is critical. Getting them out as quickly as possible. It's the reason the guys always monitor the net. If the shark's in there for any length of time, it'll die.
This is a black-tip shark. Time for lead scientist Jennifer to get to work.
So this is real pressure for the team. They need to sample the shark as quickly as possible, about 3 minutes or so, and get it back in the water.
10 years experience
384.
means Jennifer knows her way around a shark.
El 1270.
First, the length.
It's possible you...
Yes, of course, to hold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Una pinza.
Then the tag,
Scanner.
a microchip to track the shark if it's caught again.
797005993.
Then the sex.
Now you...
Oh, the underside.
Es hembra. Y mírenle en el orificio si ya está cerrado.
Finally, the weight.
Okay, peso.
All on a slippery slab of muscle with teeth like razor blades.
You can still get bitten by these. Okay, we good?
In and out of the water in 3 minutes.
Fantastic.
These surveys help the national park see how fragile ecosystems are changing throughout the islands. But Santiago's mangroves are full of surprises.
Jennifer.
The crew have spotted 2 suspicious fishing boats. Time for Jennifer to flip from good cop to bad cop.
So they're just going through the catch and just figuring out what they're catching. And this policing role is really key to the work they do.
The Galapagos National Park has laws to protect fish stocks. Licensed fishermen must stick to a controlled season and a minimum catch size.
Wow, there's a lot of real small ones. There's maybe 200, 300 of these. And also the females taken with eggs as well.
Preserving breeding females is vital for a healthy population.
If you take one lobster with eggs, you're taking thousands of lobsters, essentially. So that's right there, that's the future of this fishery.
And it could cost these fishermen a $10,000 fine. Policing the rules protects lobsters and legitimate fishermen who rely on them for a living. Depleted fish stocks exacerbate other problems too. 30,000 people live on Galapagos, with many more visiting each year, and feeding them is a major issue. Today, 90% of all food is imported from the Ecuadorian mainland, 600 miles away. But although most of Galapagos is protected national park, there are farms here. And moves are afoot to encourage locals and visitors to feed themselves.
There's lots of families over here with lots of children, and you've got to keep them fed. So no, I think it's a necessity to be able to grow and produce your own fruit and vegetables.
Tam has been thinking about the Hall's family's food footprint on the islands. She's come to meet Karina, a neighbor with her own startup organic veg scheme.
So, okay, you're gonna be helping me with planting garlic.
Okay.
So we're gonna measure 10 centimeters.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put some of these sticks like that.
Yeah.
You can start from that one.
And goes out in there.
She's cleared this land of rocks, built greenhouses and shade canopies, and organically enriched her thin soil to produce low-impact, sustainable food. and all with a rapidly growing family.
So we have a similar sized allotment, we call them allotments at home, but with 2 young children and trying to grow anything and maintain it and weed it, it's kind of like a full-time job.
I quit my job in order to do this.
Right. And what were you doing before?
I've been all over. I've worked in conservation in many places.
It's still small scale, but Karina is sowing the seeds of a much bigger idea on these islands.
She's amazing. She's trying to sort of convince and talk to and work with the other farmers on the island to try and produce organic farming methods rather than using pesticides and chemicals to produce crops over here. Because we're relying on everything being shipped over here, aren't we?
90% of Galapagos food is shipped.
Yeah.
But if you do something sustainable,
Yeah.
then you have a closed circle and everything can go wrong, but you can still feed yourself.
Yeah, exactly. There's no food shortages or anything like that over
Exactly.
here. So she's giving up her job to try and make it happen, and she's really inspired me to try and produce some of our own produce as well.
Planting their own kitchen garden could reduce the family's food footprint on the islands. But most Galapagos residents live in built-up areas. So it's not something everyone here can do. And with most of the islands protected by the Galapagos National Park, there's a limit to how much farming can be done.
One thing is very obvious, is that it's hugely complicated here. So we're going to push a bit further afield and just try and get under the skin of what's really going on here in terms of population growth, and just try and learn a little bit more about an island that is a bit more kind of pristine, smaller population.
There are 4 inhabited islands in the Galapagos. Where Santa Cruz is home to over 15,000 people, Isabella has a population of less than 3,000. Covering an area a little larger than Somerset, the vast majority of Isabella is completely uninhabited. Which makes a trip to the capital, Puerto Villamil, a bit like stepping back in time.
Isla Smiler, come on, we're off. How you feeling, Isla?
Ow!
All under control, we still got Mummy?
Maybe we can see pelicans.
False!
Is that Charles Darwin?
That is.
How old was Charles Darwin when he came here, Isla?
5?
Look, it's not like a main road, is it? It's all sandy.
Oh, look! Over in there!
Flamingos!
The kids have taken to Isabella like a pink duck to water.
I just glanced up, and there she was. That's that little scrap of nothing, on her own, in a world of her own, dancing on a beach as the surf crashed in behind her. I've seen it again and again with young people. I've experienced it again and again with young people. That you put them in an environment that is a little bit wild. You know, any forest, any beach, any coast, and regardless of where they come from, regardless of background, and regardless of upbringing, they come alive.
The Halls family has come to the Galapagos island of Isabella to see how a place so beautiful and popular copes with so many visitors. It's an immediate hit with Molly. Local guide Pablo first came here 2 decades ago and has never left. He knows more than most how this island has kept its magic.
In those 20 years, what has changed in Isabella?
I remember back in those years, we didn't have electricity 24 hours. It was completely different, like no sidewalks, no street lights, very few cars, maybe 3-4 cars, that was all here.
When this was designated a World Heritage Site in 1978, they said it can handle 8,000 visitors. And now it's 200,000, and it goes up every year. Do you think that's a problem?
I think that is a challenge that we all have. We need to learn and to find the proper ways to manage it. Because most people that comes to Galapagos, it's true, it's more risk for the islands. But also, the most people that experiences the Galapagos is going to have such a positive experience. If you love nature, this is one of those places where you should be.
Pablo's a nature evangelist. For him, the best way to protect a place is to show people how special it is. So he's taking the Halls family into the heart of Isabella.
If you follow that man there, he's going to show you something amazing.
So let's see, maybe, maybe not, who knows? Remember that in Galapagos, everything is about surprises.
That is true. You weren't expecting to return home clean today, were you, Pablo? Wow. That is a good look.
Well done, Chicky. Are you going to create a storm as well? Oh, God. Should turn the bath round tonight.
Come on, let's keep going.
Even mini sandstorms only keep a 3-year-old going for so long.
Can't wait until we get down the mountain.
We need to get up it first. Come on, with your stick.
But never underestimate the motivational power of a good stick.
Come along.
Come on, girl, you little urchin.
However you choose to use it.
Ow! 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 Oh! Ow! Ow!
Go, go.
Ow!
Careful, this is too
Ow!
Right, keep walking that way and we'll get there.
Wow, what an amazing...
Look at this.
Pablo's surprise is worth the effort.
Look at that. Huge
Wow.
volcano.
At over 3,000 feet high and 5 miles across, Sierra Negra's caldera is the second largest volcanic crater on the planet. It's elemental Galapagos, and it last erupted just 12 years ago.
Non-stop, and explosions, like boom, 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 and the background, and the colors with each explosion. You got like fireworks up there on the epicenter, all the pyroclastic coming out towards the sky. It was amazing.
Pablo is such a great communicator for these islands, so passionate, so driven. He's such a great ambassador. It's one of the greatest spectacles on the planet, isn't it? A violent volcanic eruption, and you saw it. So lucky.
It makes you feel so tiny and humble.
So important, those figures, they really are. They're the people who communicate about the islands to everyone that comes to visit.
The 200,000 plus people who visit Galapagos each year are spoilt for choice when it comes to the natural world. There's more wildlife to immerse yourself in here than almost anywhere else. But there is a downside to this ever-expanding migration of nature lovers.
I've been invited aboard the good ship Garbage, which goes around the harbour picking up all the rubbish. All right, I'm here to help, here to get stuck in.
Monty's joining George and Cirillo aboard Puerto Ayora's dustbin boat.
You do all of these boats?
Ya.
Yeah.
La garbage.
Yeah.
Cada bote, 1, 2, 3, así, de uno en uno.
Ah.
De uno en uno se va retirando.
Most Galapagos tourists go straight from the airport to yachts or tour boats, which take them around the islands in varying degrees of luxury.
This, for me, is a glimpse of the other side of what goes on here. Because the times I've visited, I've often been on these big luxury boats.
Few visitors see the mountain of waste they leave behind, collected every single day by the floating bin men.
These are big vessels with a large turnover of passengers. And whenever you get a large turnover of passengers, you get a large turnover of trash. Ah, there you go.
Ponte guapo, ñaño Beto, ponte guapo. Ya. Okay. Es importante que
There's
sepa
a
que
system. There's a system. I'm messing up the system.
Contacto de la selección.
Luckily for Monty, it's pretty easy to work out.
You see all the bags are different colours. And the reason is, obviously, they've got different types of recycling in them.
On shore, another team sorts anything that can be recycled by hand. This is the front line for the future of the Galapagos. And George and Cirillo are doing as much for conservation as any scientist.
But I would argue, for the immediate area, there is no more important vessel in this harbour than this one.
As Santa Cruz produces 5,000 tons of rubbish each year, they're going to need a bigger boat.
Thanks, George. There's a great expression that says, it's a Mark Twain expression. It says, man is the only species capable of blushing and the only species that needs to. And if you look behind us there, I think, you know, that embodies that expression, really.
Rubbish isn't the only problem flying in with mass tourism. People arriving from all corners of the planet poses a much more insidious threat. Invasive species. 1 in 3 plants and almost all the reptiles here are found nowhere else on Earth. But the Galapagos ecosystem is delicately balanced. And introducing new species to this mix can have unpredictable and devastating consequences.
It's full of fire ants.
Yes. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks.
The tropical fire ant was accidentally brought here with cargo and is amongst the most pernicious.
And what ants?
Fire ants attack native insects, bird and tortoise hatchlings.
It's here, Jose. It's a fire ant.
Back at Hall's HQ, Monty has joined forces with gardener Jose, and they are using sawdust as a first line of defense against this alien invasion.
Tenemos que limpiar el área.
Oh, the whole area?
Sí.
Yeah.
The sawdust comes from the Cuban cedar tree, itself an invasive, but also a natural insect repellent.
Ah, so you sort of want to bring them out, almost.
Sí, limpiar.
Oh, wow. Wow, just look at them. Millions of them. And every single one of these has got a nasty little bite on it. Jose, I see why you have long sleeves,
sí.
not short sleeves. Yeah.
Sí, hasta acá.
Ants having a field day on me.
Sí.
Feasting on me. In here, I can hardly see any ants. I was looking at millions of them a moment ago, and just all the ants. Do we need to just do the patch or the whole garden?
Sí, necesitamos cubrir el área.
Big job.
It's such a big job that Monty needs to rally the troops.
Okay, chaps, we've got a mission.
A mission?
So we're going to put magic dust all over here to make the ants go away.
Okay.
So this is just for this area?
Wait, ready? Oh. I like the sawdust. I'm going to fire ants away.
And these are a couple of Jose's mates, John and Livia, who are helping us out, doing all the heavy lifting while we sprinkle sawdust.
While they clear out the ants, the family have also been asked to remove as many non-native plants as possible. And the invasive cedar and balsa trees are their first target.
Looking forward to this. I think there's going to be quite a lot of manly chopping involved. Fair amount of shirt-off action. Okay.
Okay.
Stop. Oh, you can hear it cracking. Timber.
Oh my. Amazing!
Yeah, good for you. Well done. Well done. Gracias. It's really important work, this. It's a little bit of Galapagos that we've got back, actually. And you could see it was higher than the scalatia next to it and taking its sunlight and dominating it. And we can use the sawdust to keep the fire ants away, of course. So, gracias, boys.
It's a small victory, but Jose and his team
Salud. Salud.
will continue to battle invasives,
Fantastic job.
one garden at a time. The Halls family are 6 weeks into their stay on the unique ecological gem that is the Galapagos.
I like Galapagos because all the wildlife there is just so amazing that I couldn't believe my eyes.
In that time, it's become clear how fragile these tiny Pacific islands are, and just how much effort it takes to support not only their wildlife, but the thousands of people who live and visit here. Over 40 different agencies share in the management of the Galapagos. But personal pride in the islands also runs through some residents, like a stick of Galapagos rock.
We can run that far.
We are.
And the family are joining in on the annual coastal cleanup of Santa Cruz Island.
I like turning up somewhere, really getting stuck in.
Every year, since 2000, the Galapagos National Park have encouraged the whole island to come together for a giant spring clean.
Oh, let's go!
It's early in the morning, 6:30, and it's a Saturday, and it's a big effort to do this and get your kids up and come out. But the lovely thing is watching the town gradually mobilise. It's a local community taking responsibility for cleaning up their area. Here you go, girl. Here's your T-shirt. Look, that means you are officially a beach cleaner. With the plastics in the ocean, you can't really find someone to blame. Although, to a degree you can, because most stuff's branded. Action for the planet. There you are. Says it all, really.
Sponsored by
Coca-Cola. A major international corporation helped fund that beach cleanup. Quite right, too.
The drinks company has been sponsoring the cleanup of the beaches on Galapagos for over 10 years.
You're good at tidying up, aren't you?
I'm not, Mum.
Tidying up is not your forte.
The cleanup team have arrived at the north end of the island. A coastal area fringed with mangroves and studded with lava rocks. Approaching from the land is a tricky business.
A man in flip-flops carrying a toddler. The ideal person to have moving through a mangrove.
We're going through a mangrove?
Yes, we're exploring.
School friend Leo helps lead the way through one of the densest bits of coastline on the whole island.
So we're going the wrong way.
Are we going the wrong way?
Yeah.
We haven't got the right shoes for climbing in mangroves, have we? Bare feet. Ow.
My shoes are getting filled up with sand. I'm not sure I should even be in this group. I put on the wrong shoes.
Yeah, wrong shoes.
But once they're in, there's work to do.
Ustedes recogen basura y le van diciendo qué están cogiendo. Plástico, redes de pesca, madera, si encontraron un animal muerto, todo. Todo le indican a ella y ella la nota. Hay una que dice ficha de voluntario.
Come on, go.
And the kids are getting stuck in.
Let's go look inside the mangroves.
Yeah, inside the mangroves, that's where most of the rubbish is.
Wait here, I see a broom.
Come get the broom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get it. It's quite a bit far for you.
Got it?
We got a broom.
Good grief, look at that. Well, if there's one place that needs a broom, it's around here, I think.
Despite their footwear, Team Mangrove have collected all this rubbish in just under 15 minutes.
Look at that. World Heritage Site for 40 years, and that's been collected in about 50, 80 metres of mangrove. Frightening, you know, it's frightening.
Across islands considered amongst the most pristine on Earth, 800 volunteers have collected 4 tons of rubbish in a single morning.
I find it overwhelming. I find it sometimes, I just think, you know, you do beach cleans and then you come back a week later and there's plastic there again.
The islands are getting in danger by all the rubbish. Bottles and clothes, plastic bags. It's really bad. Most of it blows out into the sea.
Take the bag.
But, you know, it dawned on me while we were doing that. You got 2 routes. You do something or you do nothing. And a lot of people here are doing something. We know that in 2 weeks' time, it's all going to be back. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll clean it up again. And we'll do it until hopefully it stops happening, until people learn not to dump stuff in the sea. And then when we hand these islands over to our kids, they'll be in a slightly better state. I'm gonna give you a bath when you get home.
Yeah?
Because you're honking.
Back home, Monty and Tam are pushing on with their sustainable garden project and spending a bit of quality time together.
Yeah. Lovely, well, it's really nice, just outside the kitchen.
Oh, they look good, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's really satisfying.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's
Good.
You know, I think we run around like maniacs, don't we, after the kids and
Yes.
you know, and the Galapagos and big animals and all this amazing stuff that's going on here. And
Can I do that? I think the last time we spent 3 months sort of solidly together as a couple was probably before Isla was born, so it's possibly over 5 years, I think.
it's really nice to just come out and
Plants and vegetables.
yeah.
Meeting locals who are making a difference has made the family more aware of their own footprint as visitors on the islands.
You know, we've come to visit and try and find out about the islands. So that presents a whole bunch of really complex dilemmas for us as well as a family.
And top of that list is where their food comes from.
It's kind of a little bit like a MasterChef invention test. It's like you go to the supermarket and some days there'll be some items, some days there'll be different items to buy, and you kind of have to figure out what you can produce out of what's available at the time.
I will do grouper fish fingers. So this fish was swimming around when the sun came up.
Commercial fishing was banned in Galapagos 20 years ago.
Come on, quick!
But local fishing still provides the mainstay of the Galapagos diet.
That's the fish you picked at the market today.
And you carried home?
How about that, eh?
Yeah.
However delicious it might be,
Ketchup, please.
Monty wants to know how to keep this small-scale fishing sustainable.
I want something sweetie.
So next morning, he's come to the fish market with neighbour and marine conservationist Scott.
So would you say my family could buy fish here with a clear conscience? 'Cause that's yellowfin tuna, isn't it?
That is yellowfin tuna.
Now, yellowfin tuna is almost like a sacrosanct species, isn't it? It's right on the edge. So is this a sustainable fishery, in your opinion?
You're right, yellowfin sits right on that border. What we can say is this fishery in Galapagos does not negatively affect the status of that species in any way, shape, or form. It's just too small.
Only hand-caught fishing from small boats is allowed here, which puts a natural limit on the amount that's landed. But like everything here, it's complicated.
I think what does tell the story a lot more is the lobster. Lobster kind of was a really great fishery for a while, was dropping. When everyone jumped from sea cucumbers and lobster, that crashed it out, but they've been able to rebuild those fisheries.
As Monty has already seen, the temptation to cash in from illegal lobsters is too great for some to resist. But it may be possible to keep fish stocks healthy as long as everybody plays by the rules.
And if you do that, I think you can get sustainability. In fact, I would say fish is probably our best opportunity for meeting our protein needs in a sustainable way in Galapagos. But it's going to take some work.
If Monty wants to see legitimate lobster fishing in action, Scott suggests he try it out for himself.
You're going to find out just how hard it is. You're diving into cold surf. This is the rough season. You got waves going in and out. You're reaching into holes with moray eels and other things,
really?
which you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
You'll have a unique experience.
Have you done it yourself? You had a go?
No, I have not.
In the past, the Galapagos supplied the mainland market with lobster tails. But now, fishermen sell live lobsters to local restaurants, which is a win-win of fewer lobsters taken at greater profit. Monty's joining father and son fishing team, Enrique and Boris, to see what this means in practice.
How long do you spend in the water each night?
For night, depend to the conditions. 7, 8, depends, yes.
That is a long time in the water.
While Monty is sensibly kitted out with modern gear to take him 20 meters down, for his air supply, Boris has a plastic hose and an ancient petrol-powered compressor. Which sounds like it's seen better days.
Has that happened before? It's been hard to start?
No, sometimes.
Yeah.
Lobsters are most active at night, making this the best time to fish. But Boris isn't the only hunter out here.
2 quite large tiger sharks were seen just up the coast. And that adds quite an interesting element because they tend to hunt at night. But, you know, Boris, he's out here every night and he's down there on his own.
With his squeaky air compressor, Boris goes to work.
Sure, I'm going in like that.
10 meters below the surface, in the dark of night, Monty is finding out firsthand what one of Galapagos' most dangerous jobs is all about. Fisherman Boris is on the hunt for lobsters, whilst Father Enrique watches his air supply, an old compressor. The currents are too strong for lobster pots. So fishermen scour the seabed by hand, hauling themselves over volcanic boulders and delving deep into cracks. Boris plays by the rules. Any lobsters he does catch must be above the minimum permitted size. It's slim pickings at high personal risk. The compressor has died.
No, solamente una burbujita nomás. ¡Ay!
It won't start with the drive belt on. So Enrique takes it off. And must now flick it back on to a spinning wheel.
Ya, Bori!
His air is back on, but Boris has had enough for tonight.
Ay, no, papacito.
It's a dangerous game, this. It's a dangerous game.
If someone said to me, "Oh, yeah, I'm a lobster diver in the Galapagos," I'd be like, "Oh, what a great life." It's not a great life. It's grim.
There's an expression that says about fishermen, it says the boats are made of wood, but the men are made of iron. Yeah. Yeah.
The huge effort required to land even a single lobster naturally protects their numbers. With proper regulation, this means that legitimate fishermen can make a living without destroying stocks.
It's a male. Yeah.
There are ways for people on Galapagos to get a good feed without endangering life and limb. And the family are embracing them all.
We're building a chicken coop!
Do you want me to get a piece of paper and a pen so you can draw it out and see?
Oh, no, we're doing that. We're a couple of blokes building something. We wouldn't do any plans. Now, Isla, there you go. Take that over there.
What could possibly go wrong?
Robbie round the back of the head. Put a bit of glue on there, please. Oh-cha! Not that much. Good grief.
How did you get it on your head?
Oh, I was just flicking my paintbrush. Our chickens are here!
It's a chicken with a little Mohican.
Look! That means we got it home. Right.
He's so cute. Our chickens' names are Bumface, Violet.
They might not be used to being held by young girls, so they might expect... There you go.
Bo and Cookie, because I have a cock. Poor you, you're just like an English.
Oh, easy. He's got attitude. Shall we put him in?
He's psychopathic.
Mummy hates cocks.
Pick that one up. He looks...
Wow.
There you go.
Mission accomplished.
Mission
Ella.
accomplished.
Thank you.
We now have chickens.
Yeah. Come on,
out of your way.
Okay.
It may take a few days for the chickens to settle in before they start laying.
We're not roasting these chickens.
No, we're not. Well, we might roast Bumface. How about that?
No.
In the meantime, Monty knows the perfect place where he can vouch for the sustainability of a family dinner.
Yummy, yummy.
A lobster with tomato ketchup.
I'm slightly alarmed that as of tonight, at least 50% of my family love lobster.
We're definitely coming back.
Yeah.
40 years since the Galapagos became a World Heritage Site. They are struggling to support the demands of so many people wanting to come here.
And you see stuff that can be a little bit disheartening. You see Port-Royal expanding. You see too many boats in the harbour. You see 6 flights a day. And stuff like that can make you think, oh, yeah, there's snags here, really. But then you meet certain really inspiring individuals.
Monty has learned that where people are undoubtedly the problem, they are also the solution.
These islands are going to have a positive future. It's going to come from the individuals within the Galapagos.